Thank you, Jim. Don't get deafened down there by the Minardi engine. Ford engine in the back of the Minardi as Baumgartner goes out on track. Well, hello everybody. If anybody is going to beat Michael Schumacher to win a Grand Prix this season, they're going to have to start by beating him in qualifying. The Ferrari Bridgestone package is so strong on the getaway from the start line and at the early laps of the Grand Prix. By far the strongest package in Formula One. So really today the challenge is to get in front of Michael Schumacher on the grid. We saw in Bahrain 2 weeks ago Jenson Button and Juan Montoya both had a chance to do that, but ultimately blew it on their time lap. Martin, we've seen Montoya do a very fast time in the first qualifying session here this afternoon, but a suspicion perhaps that he'd taken some fuel out to do that time. But Button is a genuine contender, isn't he? I mean, he's been a couple of hundredths away from Schumacher throughout free practice this morning. Do you think he can get his first pole in Formula One?
No, I don't. I think it's going to be a real struggle to beat Michael Schumacher unless they're running an unusual strategy in the Ferrari. And I think they'll be sucking a bit of fuel out of it before this qualifying started rather than putting a bit more in. Looking at the pace, particularly of the two Williams runners up front, but at the moment it's going to need something quite amazing, I think, to knock Michael Schumacher off pole. Maybe Rubens Barrichello can pull that out, but I don't think Jenson's quite got enough speed if he's going to run a representative amount of fuel to start the first stint of the race. Baumgartner on track then on his out lap. At least I know what he looks like now after I've done a track dive with him. Reminded me of when Gerhard Berger and I used to sit in the drivers' briefings on Sunday mornings nudging each other saying, who's that? Is he a driver? I've never seen him before. And anyway, Baumgartner, a very nice young man. Let's see if he can hook his Minardi up better than he did this morning.
Yes, had an off this morning. We're riding on board with the Minardi of Zsolt Baumgartner, one of a number of people to fall foul of the Variante Alta, the fast chicane at the top of the circuit. I spent the whole morning up there watching, and really is a spectacular place. We'll be getting to it shortly on this lap. Little lock up from Baumgartner there, going through Villeneuve into the Tosa corner then. 60 miles an hour in third gear. Up the hill he goes, picking up the speed towards the Piratella corner. 8 corners on this beautiful 3-mile track. Every one of them a classic, every one of them a well-known household name. Aqua Minerale, the Variante Alta, Rivazza, wonderful evocative names from the history of Italian motorsport. This is Aqua Minerale, and up the hill they go. 130 miles an hour on the entry it was, up to 175 miles an hour. This is Variante Alta, where he lost it this morning. You can see he's lost it again this afternoon, and Variante Alta springs its trap.
Yes, well, he needed a calendar to time his first sector. It was quite slow, and unfortunately he's now lost it up at the top. Just Mark Webber said to me, you need a lucky bounce on the way out of that to pick the car up. He needs a lucky bounce on the way in at the moment. Baumgartner just caught him out. I don't think he really did anything particularly wrong. Just the car not really accepting the violent action that comes into the tyre and suspension that through the front then excites the rear end as well as his teammates coming round to start his flying lap. So Baumgartner then is abandoning that and straight into the pit lane.